Baru's gone to this one here. Look at the little guy there. Baru, if I didn't mention, he's only 80 kilograms. Probably only going to get to about 160 kilograms, but yeah, bigger than Cedar. Now this rise behaviour, once again, is just a way that they can gain height advantage. And Baru, he just gets a bit excited, so sometimes he starts digging his claws in there. Cedar's done this many times. If Cedar does start to bring her claws out a little bit, we just tap her on the claws, and that tells her just to retract those claws away. They do have all their claws as well with their teeth, so sometimes their claws do stick into us, especially when we're wearing these jackets here, which they're not too used to. But Baru here still learning that behaviour, so even tapping them on the claws, probably not too sure about what that means. And we just sort of need to keep working them through it. But there you go, into that rise behaviour, quite easy and simple there. Now guys, these guys do have some pretty serious weapons on them. They don't like each other, our adult tigers. They don't get along. They're not a social animal. They are a solitary territorial animal. So they will fight. And these guys, when they do fight, will go into something that we call a free stance or a fight stance. And it's basically where they go on their back legs and try and hit each other down to the ground. Cedar likes to take a time on this behaviour, but shortly, hopefully, we will try and get it to go into a fight stance. It's basically like a sit-up that you saw at the start there, but they'll sort of go right up on their back legs. Now, we have had a couple of scuffles here on the island. We always keep the tigers separated that are out here, but if they do go into this free stance, which Cedar's now showing us, we'll definitely get over there straight away to break up the fight. They will do a lot of damage to each other, and we don't want that fight to happen, and if it does happen, it's up to us to break up that fight as fast as we can. These guys will do some serious damage, not only with their claws, but also with their teeth. And I've got a plastic replica here in my pocket close. This tooth measures about 12 centimetres long, and it's the entire length of the tooth. You guys are going to see the real thing now as we bring Cedar and Baru down the front there, but you're only going to see half of that, as obviously the other half is embedded deep inside their jawbone. Now, if you have a look at their teeth, what you might not be able to notice is a series of grooves that run down either side. The grooves are there to allow air to pass between the tooth and the flesh, which prevents the vacuum from being formed and means the tigers can readjust their grip if they need to. What you might be able to notice behind each of the canine teeth is a small gap. The gap is there to allow the tigers to bite right up to their gum to ensure that whatever they have a hold of is definitely not going to get away in a hurry. And finally, folks, up the back of their jaw, have got carnaxial teeth there and used by them because their jaws are actually only moving in one motion, up and down. A tiger can't chew their food from side to side like we can. They don't have molar teeth, they've got carnaxial teeth up the back. They basically use those just to slice off chunks of meat and just swallow it down whole. Well, there we go, folks, wet conditions, but we did get some good behaviour from Cedar, and also Baru, he's not doing a bad job either, so how about we give Cedar and Baru a little round of applause and good job so far. We're going to move on to what we call marks now. Usually we try a bit of jumping over our platforms here, but it's very slippery, and although these guys do have their claws, they do tend to have a bit of a slip, so we're not going to ask Cedar to do these jumps today, and obviously Baru, he's just learning a few of these behaviours, so he definitely won't be asking him as he has no idea what we're doing anyway. So we'll move on to a learned behaviour. This is what we call mark training. We were seeing Scott's hand. Baru doesn't know this behaviour yet, but he's holding just some wooden mark boards. So when he throws these balls on the ground, you'll see that Cedar will just walk up to them, place their front paws on them. Pretty simple training, and generally something that the cats like to be involved in. They obviously take very little effort to walk up to the mark boards, and they do get that food reward from the guys there. It's pretty important to us though, because it means we can have our vet come along and do these simple health checks, which might be required without having to anaesthetise them. Any catches, our vet doesn't have the same relationship with the cats that we do, so it's pretty important whenever we have our vet around us, the tigers are definitely focused elsewhere. Now another area that we use this mark training for is when we have the tigers involved in television programs and commercials. Typically in that situation, not only do we have the cats off leash, we're run up with distractions with different people and lots of camera and lighting equipment. So you can see the importance of not only having the tigers look elsewhere, but if we do have to move them from one point to another, we can easily achieve that by using this simple mark training. Now for folks, the reason that we have the tigers involved in television programs and commercials is because we're able to raise money for tigers out in the wild. Now you guys may not be aware that about 100 years ago there were actually about 100,000 tigers living in the wild. And over that 100 years or so we've managed to wipe out about 97%. That's right, leaving us today with only an estimated 3,000 tigers, and out of those 1 to 3 are still dying per day, mainly due to habitat destruction and unfortunately still poaching. Well, through the DreamWorld Wildlife Foundation here, we do try and raise as much money as we can for tigers out in the wild. And this is a pretty simple way that you guys can help us out. We always invite guests to make a donation in our box over there on the wall, right by the conservation sign there. If you have any spare change there, folks, just chuck it in there, and every single cent goes directly overseas to have out the wild tigers. So we just try and pump that conservation side as much as we do. That's pretty much the most important thing that we're doing here with the tigers. Alright folks, we're going to try and do a bit of a tree climb here for you now. I'm pretty sure you'll be excited about this one. Tigers are excellent climbers. They have the claws and the strength to go up the trees. Some of them are not good at coming back down the tree though. Cedar, her brother Sultan, he's our biggest. He's got the strength and the power to go up. He actually just turns around and jumps straight back down to the ground. So we don't take Sultan very high. But we're thinking we can probably take her halfway up, 3/4 of the way up the road there. She can actually shimmy down to a safer height, maybe because she's a bit small or a bit smarter, we're not quite sure. But she can definitely go a bit higher than Sultan. So Scott's got a nice big piece of chicken here, so we'll see if we can encourage Cedar up. If you've got a camera or phone here, focus it on the tree, and she will be up there in a second. See, she was so far she didn't even see it that time. The chicken just slipping off there, and Baru very keen to come down and grab that piece. So we'll see if we can put another piece there on for her. See if we can get her up there again. These guys are strict carnivores, so that's all we feed them, just raw meat. We feed them a little bit of chicken, we also feed beef and horse, venison, goat, lamb, kangaroo, but mainly chicken, horse and beef. Alright, so we've got another piece on here. Here she goes, pretty easy climb for her today. And grab that second piece of chicken. Yeah, give her a round of applause, guys. Excellent tree climb there from Cedar. It's such a spectacular behaviour, that one. And it always surprises us to see how easy they do go up the tree there. She's finishing off the chicken now. She eats around 2-3 kilos per day. Some of the bigger brothers eat around 5 kilos per day. Well, we might try and wrap up the presentation with a bit of a jump. We might try this one off the logs over here. Forget about the platform jumps, but we'll see if we can maybe get Cedar to do a little bit of a jump off the log here. She's definitely not one of our best jumpers, but we'll certainly encourage her as much as we can anyway. Scott, would you like a little bit of a countdown there, or just want to do it on your own terms? You'll be alright? Okay, so Cedar will finish off her chicken there and we'll make her way to the back. Now the cats don't mind the weather conditions. They, after it's been raining for a day or two, they certainly do get a little bit over it. But they like the cooler conditions. They definitely like the sun and the heat, but they do like the cooler conditions, and it generally makes them a bit more pumped up. So when we have our dog players out here, we certainly have to really keep very close on, because A, they don't get along anyway, being solitary animals. But B, because it's wetter conditions, they're more for an opportunity to be aggressive to each other. And it doesn't matter that most of our dogs are related. They may not even know they are related, but they'll certainly take the opportunity if they see it in front of them. So we've got Cedar in here, guys. Get your cameras ready. Hopefully you can do a little bit of a jump here. There's a jump from Cedar for a piece of chicken. Oh, give her a round of applause, guys. That was a great jump from her. Well done. Well, I hope you enjoyed that final presentation, guys. I suppose we'll just stick a little bit more meat around here. Cedar's done a great job considering the wet conditions out here. And don't forget young Baru to pick up the end there. It's great to see. And definitely in the near future, we will have Baru and his brother Rami in our presentations. Early days, as you can see at the moment. But, guys, despite the wet weather, we hope you had a great day here at DreamWorld. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Thank you.
That's